The first object that we found was a doll's head that we picked up on Milnerton Beach, myself and my daughter's dad, and so we called her Millie. Her body began to grow, so we found her leg, and then a whole cast of characters evolved from there. The whole process of finding these little objects and transforming them became almost like a process of divination, like a process of finding meaning. I kind of was obsessed by the mystery of the things and where they had come from, because there was so much. It's a nice tongue here for a cow. This is just a box of bits that have been collected off the beach. They feel like they call to you because they've been loved and held and like sort of invested with a certain energy, and that energy hasn't really been released. I mean, it hasn't gone anywhere. And then these are two chimpanzees that I was playing with. This light fitting, it looks a bit like a pith helmet to me. Some old bits of plumbing, and this is a squash ball. And then a pair of kind of Halloween vampire teeth. So then what I'd do is I'd look for a body for this little guy. And that is a double adapter, sort of come together to make a little chimpanzee with his bow tie and his little legs. Now we've got to decide whether he's a boy or a girl. And maybe he has a partner. We'll have to try and find the rest of her though. Do you want to see this little guy? He was the go-away demon. His eyes are made out of flip-flops that were found on the beach and then cut into circles. So he had a mane, and his willy is made out of an ant. Where's her other leg? So he's a little traveller. Bye. I feel like I have to rescue them because they've been abandoned, and they were these kind of loved things that are now unwanted. They're like orphans. But at the same time, there's an unknown quality about them. I'm never quite sure whether they're nice or not nice, but I can't ignore them. When I first moved to Scarborough, it was like a gift to me to be given this resource, this interesting thing that I could make work out of. Whitsunds Beach 30, 40 years ago was the municipal dump because this area was very unpopulated. So it's filled with all the suburban rubbish of the surrounds. It feels like a cemetery in some way. It's like a burial ground for a suburban reality. So it looks like it could be like a little bonnet or a puppet or a little sculpture. And if there was like a kind of a lace doily around the back there, it would look almost like Whistler's wife or something like that. It's quite nice. Walking on this beach and finding these things becomes like a kind of an archaeology. All of these little objects are like a record of somebody's life passing. I was walking on the beaches and collecting stuff, and then at one point I became aware of the fact that there was a sort of an organized rubbish collecting endeavor going on, and that there were groups of women with yellow plastic bags like removing rubbish at quite an alarming rate for me, because it would become a resource for me. So the idea of people actually having sort of first option on my junk initially quite upset me, and I had to sort of war with myself to allow